Schumer tried to shift attention, proposing a resolution on decorum. But when asked about Caroline, he muttered, "We've said enough." When Clint Eastwood took his seat on The Unfiltered Truth with Madison Steele, most viewers expected just another Hollywood segment, another heated exchange. But what they didn't expect was that Madison, young, sharp, and famous for dismantling conservative guests, was about to make the biggest misstep of her career. She thought she had him pinned, ready for an easy viral win. But what unfolded next became a defining moment, not just for the show, but for the entire media landscape. In classic Eastwood fashion, there was no arguing, no defensiveness, just calm, clarity, and a masterclass in conviction, faith, and timeless strength. It began like any other evening on The Unfiltered Truth. Anticipation buzzed through the studio. Faces lit by studio glow, cameras panned and focused, and production crews readied for their usual takedown. The show had earned a reputation for being one of the sharpest progressive platforms on television, a place where conservative guests often came in proud and left shredded. And tonight, Madison Steele was aiming even higher. Blonde, bold, and razor-sharp, she had built a brand on gotcha journalism, quick cuts, viral burns, and expertly timed put-downs. Some admired her savvy, others called her smug. Either way, she knew her audience. And now, sitting across from her, was Clint Eastwood, 94, iconic, unapologetic, a relic of grit and principle, exactly the kind of guest she knew would ignite conversation. But as Clint lowered himself into the chair, her gaze caught something, subtle but striking. A small silver cross hung just beneath the collar of his shirt. Her mind clicked. This was the angle. The audience loved faith-based takedowns. She was already drafting the headline in her head, Eastwood, clinging to religion in a modern world. As the lights flared and the show opened, the two faced off. Madison, polished and poised. Clint, steady and relaxed. The contrast was cinematic. She leaned forward with her signature smile and casually motioned toward the necklace. "Clint, I've got to ask, what's with the cross?" "Didn't peg you. For a jewelry guy." The crowd chuckled, light-hearted, seemingly harmless. But some caught the shift, the bait in her voice. Clint didn't flinch. He just sat there, the kind of stillness that comes with experience. Then he smiled, not a media-trained grin, but something deeper, more knowing. Madison pushed further. "Come on, Clint. You've made a career out of playing tough guys, the cowboy, the enforcer. But here you are wearing a cross like a choir boy." Laughter, louder now. A few claps. Her team behind the scenes clipped the moment in real time. They were ready for the internet to explode. But Clint didn't blink. He looked at her, calm, unmoved. The studio's mood shifted. People began to sense this wasn't unfolding the way it usually did. He slowly raised his eyes and, in that unmistakable gravelly voice, said, "You think it's funny?" The room fell silent. Madison forced a laugh. "No, it's just surprising. Faith isn't exactly Hollywood's favorite thing anymore." But Clint didn't engage. Instead, he gently lifted the cross, held it between his fingers, and said, "This belonged to my father. He wore it every day. I kept it when he passed." He paused. "Not because it's stylish, not because I want attention, because it reminds me who I am." No dramatics, just truth. The audience shifted. The energy changed. It wasn't about religion anymore. It was about legacy, identity, something real. Then Clint looked at Madison and added, "Some people wear jewelry to show off. Others wear it because it means something." She tried to recover, backpedaling, softening her tone. "Look, I respect belief. I just think we've evolved past needing symbols like that." Clint tilted his head and replied, "Moved past needing faith?" He let the silence hang. And then came the moment that turned everything. "Tell me something, sweetheart." "What?" Do you believe in? She froze. Not visibly, not entirely. But the flicker of hesitation said it all. Clint saw it. Everyone saw it. And then he delivered the line that sealed it. Because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall. For anything. The crowd didn't cheer. They didn't laugh. They just listened. Within minutes of the episode airing, the moment was viral. Clips exploded across every platform. The hashtags, Faith Matters, Clint Ounds, Madison, Stand for Something. Her fans tried to spin it. He was rude. She was misunderstood. But the narrative had already shifted. And the final blow? The network quietly removed the interview from its homepage. They didn't want the segment defining her brand. They knew it had only elevated his. A week later, a reporter caught up with Clint near a quiet cafe in Carmel. They asked him for comment on the viral storm. He took a sip of coffee, smiled, nope, and walked away, because Clint Eastwood didn't need to win arguments. He just stood for what he believed in, and that's why he already won. That silence echoed louder than words. Caroline didn't dwell. She planned her next move, a national address. Not from a network studio, but from a high school gym in rural America. Because that's where voices like mine come from, she told her team, and where the next ones will rise. As she stepped outside that evening, flashbulbs still blinking, cheers still rising, critics still shouting, Caroline took a breath and smiled. They thought cutting her mic would end the message. Instead, it lit a movement.